I am going to show you how to do the first clear on Rengar jungle. I will run over the clear and show you how to do it, and then afterwards I will watch the footage and I will explain everything that I'm doing, and then you can watch the beginning, you can watch the clear again, and you can see if you understand everything I'm doing now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get yellow trinket. I want to try and get it down here if possible. Now I can take two paths. I can go down here through the river and place it. Then I have to be careful of this bush. There could be enemies in here. And after I place down the ward, once again there could be enemies in here, and there could be enemies in here. Those are the two main spots you have to worry about when you place ward here. So after you place the ward, you usually want to run back to around this bush and you want to recall. The latest time you can recall is around 52 seconds. Then you get to the plant just in time. So when I come back, I switch to the sweeper. Now the other route I could have taken was down through mid lane. So if I have allies around the river in here, then that means that I have vision of this area, which means I can run down here and put a ward over the wall without being in danger. So at 1 minute and 23, I want to jump on this with my Q, so I get the two stacks. The two stacks, I will keep them until this comes up, and I have my Q up just in time. So now I want to kite it properly. So I want to maximize the amount of auto attacks I get out. I end at 390 HP. I think you can end at 420. I'm pretty sure you can. But 390 or 420. So once again, I maximize my amount of auto attacks that I'm using on these. I want to leave them with max stacks of ferocity, because that makes raptors very easy. Or not very easy, it makes them easier. Now obviously in an actual game you're going to have a leash, so you're going to be slightly faster than this, and you're going to have slightly more HP than this. But the base is the same. And when you have a leash, then getting 4 stacks of ferocity when you leave Krugs is also more convenient. Now I took one more auto attack from the blue buff than I actually needed, but it's fine. I might have cancelled an auto attack there. I didn't see it. But this is the base of it, the basic of it. I ended up around half HP. If you have a leash, you should end up about 75% HP. Now whether you want to do Grump is up to you. You can skip Grump and go to the Crab, and then you can do an invade afterwards, or you can just do the Crab afterwards, or you can gank afterwards. Another thing you can do is not do Krugs, then you just go to Wraiths, and you can go to Wolves, and you can go to Blue, and then do an invade. For that kind of pathing, this ward is actually really good, because if the enemy starts blue buff, then they will usually do Grump and Wolves, because blue side is really good right now. And then they come over to the red buff. And if you clear properly, then you should be able to take your red buff, Wraiths, Wolves and blue buff, and at that point you will see the enemy jungler is on the Wraiths. You will see it from your ward. and then you should be able to just run directly to their red buff and do an invade. So that's another thing you can do. But these techniques for clearing the camps the fastest and the healthiest still apply no matter which jungle path you're taking for the first clear. Okay. So let me bring over the footage of it. Can I see it here? I cannot. Okay. Okay, so I explained the part about the warding. You can go down through river. Then you have to worry about this bush right here, and you have to worry about this bush on the way back. But this ward is really good if you can get it. If you cannot get it, then just don't get it, because it's not that important, but it is really good if you can get it down. You can also go down through mid lane. If you want to go down through mid lane and just ward over the wall, then it's usually because you have teammates sitting in river which give you vision, so the enemy team cannot collapse on you. Okay, so the first trick on Rengar jungle is you want to jump to this blast cone at 1 minute and 23 seconds. That makes sure that you start off with 2 stacks because you use your Q before you jump. So let's see. I activate Q and jump. That gives me 2 stacks. And these stacks run out in 8 seconds, which is after red bone spawns. So I will have 2 extra stacks when the red bone spawns because of this trick. Now sometimes the blast cone doesn't actually spawn this early. Sometimes it spawns around 1 minute and 24 seconds or 1 minute and 25 seconds. And in that case, your Q will be up a bit late. So you see here my Q is up just as the red buff comes up. Now if the blast cone spawns a bit late, then your Q won't be up for it, for the red buff. But it's still worth doing the trick. So I auto attack and use my Q as an auto attack cancel. Now you see I got 2 auto attacks and red buff got 1 auto attack, and I auto attack one more time. Now I want to run back because I can see that the red buff is going to get another attack on me. So right now I got 3 auto attacks. I got my regular auto attack, I got my Q auto attack, and I got another auto attack in the time where the red buff got 1 attack auto attack. So the next auto attack, I could just stand still and auto attack it, and then we would auto attack at the same time. But because I run back and wait for my auto attack to get off cooldown, then you see when I come back, I actually auto attack a bit earlier than it. If I just stood still from the beginning, then red buff would auto attack me before I could auto attack it. Okay. So that is the basics about kiting. Because you have higher attack speed, then you usually want to get around 3 auto attacks in while the buffs get 2 auto attacks in, and then you want to kite back to reset the auto attack cooldown. So you can practice this a bit, but this is something you just have to experience a bit. And at the end, I want to time it so that I last hit it just before it auto attacks me. Because that means I optimize the amount of auto attacks I got in. So, with the Krugs, I want to get a bit over towards the bush before I start auto attacking. because if I start auto-attacking from this point, then I will auto-attack it and then I will start running. But then the Krugs have fairly high attack speed, so it will end up hitting me twice while I'm kiting towards the bush. Now instead I'll run a bit over around here and auto-attack it, because then I can run to the bush without the Krug actually auto-attacking me a second time. So, let's see. I auto-attack it, and auto-attack it one more time in Q. Okay, so I actually stay there. I use Q for an auto-attack reset. Then I acknowledge that the Krug is going to hit me twice, but I'm going to hit the Krug 3 times at the same time. So I hit it more times than it hits me. And I cancel its last auto attack. So you can see right now it's about to hit me, but I run away. I kite away towards the bush. I want to go to the bush because I'm at no ferocity. So when I jump, I get my 1 stack of ferocity. Okay, so at this point I think I need 2 more auto attacks and then smite before it dies. So I auto attack it once, and then I auto attack it one more time and I smite. Okay. Now, this little one, I already hit it with my W. So it takes 4 auto attacks, exactly 4 auto attacks to kill. So I can just start auto attacking it, that's fine. Now, these ones are full HP because they came out of the big Krug. So I didn't hit them with my W yet. Which means that they don't die from 4 auto attacks. However, they do die from 3 auto attacks and 1 Q if I let red buff tick at least once. So you see I auto attacked this one once. Now I Q this one. So now I need to change focus away from this, so the red buff ticks at least once. So now I'm probably going to auto attack this one because it's slow, so I just want to get it out of the way. And now red buff already ticked on this one, so now I can just auto attack it 3 more times and it should die. That's what I'm doing. Always kiting away from the majority of the camp. So now this medium Krug, I only auto attacked it once, if I recall correctly. So I need to get 1 Q on it. However, because I auto attacked it once, I know that red buff already ticked. So I need to Q it once and auto attack it two more times for it to die. So I Q it. I start auto attacking the small ones because the small ones actually do more damage than the medium ones. And I can kite away from the medium ones while hitting the small ones. So I want to hit the small ones. I want to kite away. I use my W because I know the timing of my W will be so that I get it back while I'm doing my wraiths. And I want to be full ferocity when I start my wraiths. So now I just finish the camp. I kite it a bit towards the wraiths. You need to be around this area at least if you don't want your ferocity to run out before you get to the wraiths. So auto attack it. I run towards this bush to the closest corner to be perfect. So I run to here. Now the small chickens, they take 3 auto attacks. If you W all of the small ones, then they take 3 auto attacks to die. Or they take 1 regular Q and 1 empowered Q and 1 tick of red buff. So for each of those I could W them, and then I could auto attack them 3 times. But instead I want to make sure that I'm using all of my regular Qs and my empowered Qs on the same ones to optimize the amount of attacks I need to kill them. So I want to jump to this one, and then I queue this one. I don't want to queue the same as I auto attack, because the ones where I do a regular auto attack, I want to do 3 regular auto attacks. Okay, so I jump to this one and I empowered Q this one. Jump, empowered Q. Now I'm 0 ferocity, so I want to get to the bush. So I kite back to the bush. That is fine because the melee, the small chickens are melee, so I can kite away from them without really losing any HP. So you see my HP will stay around the same. Now I turn around. Now notice that this one, which I jumped to with a regular auto attack, it takes 2 more auto attacks to die, including my W, which I will use in just a moment. So this one, I want to regular auto attack it 2 more times, while this one, it takes exactly 1 Q to die, plus my W. So now I want to jump back to this, and then Q this immediately after. Using my Q as an auto attack reset. So let's see, I jump to this, or I auto attack it one more time, and now I use my Q on this one to auto attack reset, and then I use my W to heal all the damage they did. And now you see they both die. So one of them I regular auto attacked 3 times, and one of them I used both my Qs on. Now I am back to 4 ferocity. So what I want is I want to wait for my Q cooldown and do the same thing with one of the other small chickens. So I just auto attack this 3 times. I auto attack this 3 times. Auto, and then I Q this one. Q, and now I need red buff to tick. At least I think it's twice. So I change my focus to the big Wraith for like 2 auto attacks, and then I Q auto attack reset on this one, and then it dies. So once again it died from a regular Q and an empowered Q instead of 3 auto attacks. Now I just finish this one, and this is a perfect clear. This one will die to red buff. It happens every single time. Now I get my E up. I want to E this so it comes a bit towards me. So the one I already E'd, it dies from 1 auto attack and 1 regular Q, and then my W. So let's see, I auto attack Q. Now this one, because I didn't E it, it needs an empowered Q and an auto attack to die, and my W. So now I auto attack this and empowered Q, and I W, and they both die to red buff. And I'll just kite this regularly. So those are the main camps where you can actually optimize your clear. It is Krugs, and it is Wraiths, and it is Wolves. And it's mostly about using your Q on the right targets to make sure they take the perfect amount of damage, so you don't waste any auto attacks.